Hey, it's Brock here with Rock Hill Farms, and today we're going to be installing this new Bxpanded Piranha style Toothbar. And we're going to look at the pros and cons of this Toothbar compared to some other Toothbars. And this isn't the only Toothbar I own. So within the next week or so, you're going to see a head-to-head comparison between different Toothbars. And I actually have one more Toothbar that's being shipped to me so that we can throw that into the comparison. I'm planning to run this Toothbar on this stock bucket and run it with the Atta Grapple. But just for ease of install and visibility in the video, I'm going to go ahead and take the Atta Grapple off real quick and get it out of the way. I've never taken this off, but it looks like it's going to be really quick and easy. So we've got one pin here that we pull, and that lets the pin come out of the back of the cylinder. So we are disconnected here. Then we have a pin right here. You pull that out, and then I think this bar just slides out and it's off. So for all the people who've been interested in this Atta Grapple, that's how easy it is to take on and off. Now, let's pull this out of the box and see what we've got. Alright, so this is very simple. You've got the Toothbar, you've got the bolts for it already right here. It's just one bolt on each end, and I've got a step drill bit. When you go to order this, there'll be a checkbox that says, ask, would you like us to send you a step drill bit? And I think it adds like $14 maybe for this drill bit. But if they think this is the best way to install it, it's worth it to me. So, I'll take the packaging off here and look at the instructions. Okay, so step one requires you to set this in place and put some C-clamps on it. I didn't bring C-clamps down here. I got to run up to the shop and get them. While I'm doing that though, I want to give you guys an update on the check valve I added to my hydraulic tilt cylinder on the 3-point. So I'm not going to call this a comprehensive test because I didn't put any weight on it, but it's been 5 days since I added this check valve, and this is not sagged at all. And I guarantee it would have sagged the first day before putting that valve on. So until I experience some other problem, I'm going to call this fixed. So if you're new to the channel and you're just here to see about this Toothbar, I'll go ahead and tell you what my regular viewers already know, and that is that I don't baby my equipment or just get it out occasionally. I've had this tractor for almost exactly 2 years. I've got 579 hours on it, and I routinely push the limits of its capabilities. And the reason I tell you that is if you're on the fence about buying this product, you don't just want to know how it installs, you want to know how durable is it, how well does it work. And I will have a full series of videos on that before too much time's passed. So if you're watching this and the video is not brand new, then check the pinned comment and the description. I'll have all my updates there. For instance, if this thing won't cut worth a darn, I'll tell you about it in a future video, and I will link that video at the end of this video. If the Toothbar breaks, I'll link that too, because I want everyone to have as much information as I can give. Now in terms of what I can actually say about this Toothbar today, is I really like the design for a couple reasons. This serrated edge and the wide tooth, narrow tooth, long tooth, short tooth kind of pattern they have here gives you kind of a cutting ability, a saw blade type cutting ability. Now my Wicked Toothbar from Everything Attachments has a similar kind of zigzag pattern on it, but those teeth are not sharp. Now this is a difference of opinion between two manufacturers. Everything Attachments tells you you don't want this edge to be sharp because a sharp edge will wear out. So theirs is intentionally blunt on the ends, and they feel that's better. Or they market it as being better. Now, when I talked to the people from Bxpanded, they said, of course you want a sharp edge. A sharp edge is what cuts. And that sounds like sound logic to me. Additional to that is the concern about this wearing out. It's going to wear out from here, underneath. The front edge is going to wear under. So if you wear, even if you wore a huge amount of this over a lot of hours, say you take a 1/16 or even an 1/8 of an inch of material off this, your edge is going to ride up this slope. And in my mind, what they told me is that this will remain sharp as it wears, and that makes sense to me. But only time's going to tell what really happens. The bars with the long tooth, like Heavy Hitch sells, and there are other companies that sell those seem like they'd be more aggressive for digging, possibly not as good for cutting through shrubs or material like that. But those tooth bars seem like they would be bad for back dragging, whereas this tooth bar can cut and back drag. So that is my opinion on it before using it. Now, as far as installing it, all I've done is set it up here. From watching other videos, it believes you want to kind of tap this back with a hammer to make sure that each of these little teeth here is wedged tight onto your bucket. So I'm going to get a dead blow hammer and a piece of wood and see if I can tap this back. It says to make sure that the tooth bar is tightly seated against the bottom of your bucket, and it doesn't mention this, but I think I need to scrape the bottom of this bucket because I've got a lot of junk and buildup on there. So if your bucket's as dirty as mine, that's something to think about. I'm glad I took an extra minute to clean that. And as we look down it now, you can see that we're down into these cracks right here. It says you want to put C-clamps on this to make sure that you're tight in between the bucket and the tooth bar. The C-clamps I have aren't quite deep enough from here to here because the bucket has a slope right here, and when I put these C-clamps on, they want to slide down that slope as I tighten. So I grabbed a couple of different types of clamps. This clamp right here is a little bit deeper, and I'm able to get it further back up in there, and I think these are going to clamp down really well. And just because I've already got them down here, I'll try one of these. It looks like these would have worked, or these would have worked, or if you have a regular C-clamp with a little bit deeper C on it. Up here, you've got a pretty big gap, but actually where you're bolting this, there's less than an 1/8 of an inch of gap. It's pretty small. It tells you you're going to have that gap and that you want to center it between the two sides. The next thing we're going to do is get a marker and mark the inside of this slotted hole. They say the reason it's a slotted hole is that you always want this to be tight on here, and hypothetically, if you were to take your tooth bar off, use your bucket and wear out the front edge, then you could still push this further back down and tighten it up again. So, kind of a nice little touch, adding the slotted hole, and you want to place your bolt hole 90% of the way towards the back so that it has room to travel backward. It has no need to travel forward. They say you want your hole to be an 1/8 of an inch from the back of the slot. Now I'm going to be completely honest with you here. If I wasn't on video, I'd be tempted to eyeball a pilot hole towards the back of this, poke it through, run my full-size hole from the back and bolt it on without taking this on and off. But that could potentially get your hole in the wrong spot. And this is a kind of a how-to video, so I'm going to do it the right way. They say to use a fine point marker to mark the hole. I don't exactly have anything fine point. Oh yeah, that's going to be good. I didn't know if this would mark on there, but it's gonna work great. So now we take the tooth bar off and we drill our holes. So now they've got these little circles here that are the diameter of the hole you're gonna make, and this is a sticker. So we're gonna stick this inside of the hole we just marked. Then we're going to center punch on the plus, and then we're going to drill a pilot hole, and then we'll drill our full size hole. I think using a step drill, I wouldn't even need the pilot hole, but we're gonna do it anyway. I'll let someone tell me in the comments the best size drill bit for a pilot hole into a bucket like this. When I bolted the Atta Grapple on, I used a traditional drill bit with a step end on it, and I didn't need a pilot hole. I'm gonna use an 1/8 inch for this. I tried to be thorough and detailed in installing this and showing any problems someone might have, but honestly it couldn't be much more simpler. You stick the thing on, you drill 2 holes, you put 2 bolts in, you're done. And I can't wait to dig this in and compare it to my other tooth bars and really put some hours of use on it and give you guys an update on how it does. I appreciate you taking time to watch this video. I'm going to put links over here to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.